And we are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and I want to make sure that window is closed because I'll start yelling and stuff, Anyway, reverse back a little bit. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we got a mock draft on the docket. Pass rusher news with Max Crosby, Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, all possibilities for the San Francisco 49ers to pursue, which would be awesome. And then, of course, you got some news for the San Francisco 49ers of exclusive rights of certain players. There's actually players from the exclusive rights that the 49ers are going to sign. Apparently, they're going to sign all of them. There's some in there I actually really do enjoy, some in there that I actually do love. So we'll jump into that. Let me 1 second. I just need to post this live into the community tab real quick, just so people can see this live and hopefully no, not download. Oh my God, wrong button. All right, let's go over to post. All right, I am live. Boom. Okay, but I am love on accident. It's all funky, but it's whatever. All right, there we go. All right, so Papa J in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Leia, I can't have you whining right now. Do you want to go outside? Sorry, my dog is like throwing a fit right now, and I don't know why. She went outside. I took her for an hour walk, and now she's like, I want to go outside more, so I apologize. So I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, thank you guys for so much being in this live. And before we get to anything, of course, we're brought to you by water, because water is good for you. It's good for your skin. It's good for your bowels. It's good for your organs. It's good for everything a part of you. Got to drink some water today because H2O is the way to go. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the first news of the San Francisco 49ers, which is the big one relatively. That's happening now. The 49ers have 8 exclusive restricted free agents heading to the offseason per over the cap. Well, it looks like the San Francisco 49ers are going to sign all of them. So let's go ahead and show you that list. That way you guys can see it. Let me go ahead and bring it up. So boom, there we go. And pow. All right, it's a lot of steps to bring this up. It's actually rather crazy. Okay, so there are various types of free agents in the NFL. One of them isn't often talked about, which is exclusive right free agents. This is an NFL player whose contract expired and who has less than 3 accrued seasons. The team the player was on the previous season has the opportunity to offer the player a 1-year contract with a league minimum for their credited seasons. The player cannot sign with another team unless they are not offered an exclusive restricted free agent tender. Well, all of them were offered that. Who are those players? Jalen Graham, which is he's kind of a San Francisco 49ers favorite. People love him. I like him a lot. I'm a big fan of him. I don't think he's a great linebacker, but I think he's got potential to be something in the future. He really needs to just work on his tackling. His tackling is a big problem. Outside of that, he's actually not that bad. Sam O, we all love Sam O. I think Sam O is a really great depth DN who can play inside and outside. So it's always good to have those kind of pieces, and especially at how much you're paying him. It's barely – I don't even know if it will even affect the cap because only 51 players on the team affect the cap. So I don't think he's going to get paid enough to even affect the cap. And you have a solid second to third depth piece edge rusher there. Jake Tungus, who's a tight end. A lot of San Francisco 49ers are a big fan of this tight end. I'm personally not, but some people are, and apparently the 49ers are because they kept him on the roster. I didn't even know he was on the roster, to be honest with you. I didn't find out until like the end of the season, and then we actually ended up keeping him over a couple other tight ends. But it's good to have him back if the 49ers can turn him into something. Evan Anderson, big. That's a big signing. I actually expect the 49ers to sign the exclusive rights for Evan Anderson. We all love Evan Anderson. He's got a high ceiling. Right now, he's about a second or third D tackle depth. He's got that potential there right now, and he could be a lot more in the future. Could be very DJ Jones-esque. And I know a lot of people say that in the past, but he actually is turning out to be a very solid, unrestricted, undrafted free agent last year. Austin Pleasance was a very pleasant signing in December when all of our offensive linemen went down. We picked him up, and he actually he's pretty – I think he's like 5 – I think he's like 6'8". He's a massive man, plays right tackle, and he did pretty good as a plug-and-play right tackle. He did pretty phenomenal. So it's good to have him back as well. Mason Pline is a Larry Krueger favorite. A lot of people love Larry Krueger. Sorry, a lot of people like Mason Pline and what his potential is. Larry Krueger in particular loves him a lot. I don't know about that. I haven't seen much of him, so I really don't know the judgment on Mason Pline, but I do like his college tape and what he could bring to the team. So I do like Mason Pline, what he could possibly do. Alex Barrett is just a in-and-out football player that's, going to make the practice squad, so that's really nobody. He put Evan Anderson twice on here, so that was kind of interesting. According to Jason from Over the Cap, the Niners will tender all their exclusive right free agents, so there's those players above will be back for at least another season, whether on the practice squad or on an active roster. I'd be shocked if Evan Anderson's not on it. Austin Pleasance has a really good opportunity to make the roster. Samo has a good opportunity to make the roster, and he probably will. Jalen Graham might make that roster if we don't draft a linebacker. He'll probably make the roster for sure. Alex Barrett will be a practice squad guy. Mason Pline might be a practice squad guy, but there's a good amount of these guys here that will probably make the roster, and they're really cheap. So depth will be good at D tackle because we got one there. You got a good D end in Samo, so we still need to address a starting D end, of course, but it's good to have him back. And Austin Pleasance has a lot of potential to be a starter. So these are some pretty good. Exclusive free agents, and I think some 49ers fans should be excited the fact that we signed all of these and kept them. My biggest worry was actually losing Austin Pleasance, Evan Anderson, and Samo, and I'm glad that we figured this out and got this out of the way now. So, all right, let's go ahead and move into the next thing. That was the exclusive rights for the San Francisco 49ers, the biggest news as of right now, and I'm glad that they're back. I'm a big fan of those exclusive free agents. Oh, my God. Oh, almost like drip there. Okay. I think Samuel's going to be going to do great this next. I think so too, man, especially with Robert Saleh and what he had to do and what he has done this season. I'm a big fan of what he had to do and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of Samo and his potential, and he can actually get a lot better. He's already a second to third D end on the roster, and so the ceiling's only going to get higher and higher and higher for Samo and what he can bring to this team. Michael in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. It is a fantastic Monday so far. It's a pretty good Monday. And usually Mondays are supposed to be sad days. Mondays are supposed to be sad days. Oh my God, my teeth. God. I don't know why when I do these lives, man. I always have my teeth get really fucked up. I need to go to the dentist to figure that out. Maybe I'm deficient on certain nutrition. I don't know. All right. So don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. I appreciate you, Papa J. Thank you for the shout out. That's exactly what y'all should do to be part of the Wolf Den. All right, so we just got done talking about the exclusive rights, which is the biggest news in San Francisco 49ers right now. Let's jump into the next thing, which is more rumors and what's going on with the 49ers, which is Max Crosby. There's some signs that he might want to come to the San Francisco 49ers. This is just opinion piece. This is just rumors. There's no real weight to it. It's just kind of like keeping track of the situation. Max Crosby might has the potential to become a San Francisco 49er because he actually sounds like he actually wants to be one. I'm not going to lie. It sounds like he actually wants to be a San Francisco 49er. Some people say Mark Davis would never do it. However, I think it's a different time, different situation. It's no longer Battle of the Bay anymore. They're in Vegas. They're in the AFC. It doesn't affect us. Tom Brady can make decisions. It's not just Mark Davis anymore. So I do think that's a possibility that the Raiders could trade with the San Francisco 49ers because it's not just Mark Davis now in control of the Raiders at this point. Let's go ahead and bring up an article talking about the potential of the 49ers trading for Max Crosby, and then we'll jump into a tweet that Max Crosby put out, or not a tweet, but a comment that Max Crosby made that sounded a little pro San Francisco. I'm not gonna lie to you. So 49ers predicted to pull off blockbuster trade for Raiders. I don't know about predictions or just opinions. Predictions are just like, hey, I think it's going to happen. They're not for sure stuff, but it's just good to know that there's actually a potential that the 49ers might be able to trade from. Terrible campaign. Now the 49ers will look to reload in order to get back in the preseason. One of the areas they could address is pass rusher after San Francisco tallied just 37 sacks last season, tied for ninth fewest in the NFL. That was a big deal, failing to get to the quarterback. So the team has both Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd under contract in 2025, but Floyd is 32 years old and will be a free agent in 2026, and Bosa could use a long-term running mate. I agree. There could be, another guy needs to be on the edge. We all agree with that. One thing is for sure, Crosby wants to win, and the 49ers are a franchise that has shown they are capable of proving that. 110%. This is Myers wrote, if San Francisco wants to make a splash move at the edge to pair opposite Bosa, Crosby is the way for them to go. I agree, man. Crosby is a class act. He's a guy who can bring a lot to the team. He's a guy who works hard no matter what, injury or not. He doesn't slack. He got paid a lot of money and still showed up as an elite pass rusher, arguably top 3 pass rusher in the league. Let's go and look at over the cap real quick and see what his contract details are and see how that we can make that work. Let me share this tab. So boom. Okay, so share the tab with you guys. This is Max Crosby's contract. All right, in 2025, he has a $27 million cap hit. However, if they were to trade him, let's see what the post pre-June, same thing, I guess. They would save $17 million, $10 million cap hit. We would probably take on that $17 million and then the $19 million next year. For a guy like that, that's worth it. He'd probably want a new contract, so that might be a thing. But if you just take this for face value based on his cap hit, that's totally worth it when it comes to Mason Crosby. Mason Crosby. Max Crosby is definitely worth it for a guy like that. It's a lot cheaper than Myles Garrett too. So you still get a top 3 pass rusher. I think Myles Garrett is better, but I mean, how far much of a difference is the top 3 to the number 1 pass rusher in the league? Max Crosby is that guy. He can't play inside like Myles Garrett can, but he's a true pass rusher, and he's a good run stopper. He can do both things. He's elite at that job. He's elite at his job, and have both of them would be insane and totally worth getting in the end. And not to mention, I think I've heard I've heard Max Crosby talk about Robert Saleh, and he respects Robert Saleh and likes him. So he might be able to convince him to come to the team and maybe not take a huge cap hit this year or whatever. Like I said, having Robert Saleh is huge because you're able to convince you're able to convince players that, hey, play for us, come to us, agree to a trade, come over here. Having a guy like Robert Saleh does a lot more than just having an elite defensive coordinator on the team. So let's go ahead and jump into what Max Crosby had to say that kind of gives you the vibe that he's going to come to the team, or it's like there's already some sort of deal in the works almost. It kind of seems like that. Spent 40 hours in the Bay this weekend. Easily one of the best experiences I've had so far as a professional. The amount of love y'all showed for this 4th rounder from Eastern Michigan was humbling. I was just a kid chasing my dream and trying to figure out when I first touched down in Cali as a rookie. The amount, let's go ahead and, yeah, so I guess it's everything he said there. So there's signs that he's all for coming here. He loves it here. There's no animosity towards San Francisco. There's no animosity towards California. It does sound like like he said, he loves it here. This wasn't a long time ago where he was with the Raiders talking stuff like that. This is actually quite recently. So he loves it here. I'm sure Robert Saleh will be a good job recruiting him. And he would be on a better team ready to go to play for the Super Bowl if he were to join the squad. $17 million cap hit is insane. So, and it's a lot more of a possibility than Myles Garrett is, for sure. So let me go ahead and remove that, and then we'll look at some of the comments. We got 49ers media here. Hello, Graham Hater. There's a lot. I don't want to say a Graham Hater. He's just not a starting linebacker. I'll tell you that for sure. And if you think so, that's absolutely wild. I'm not trading 11 for Crosby. That is insane. That's insane. We ain't one guy away. Well, you're trading the 11th pick, which is one guy. If you're trading the 11th pick, which is one guy, I get it, not one guy away, but we are just like 4 positions away. You know what I mean? So if you traded the 11th pick and Deebo Samuel for Crosby, you're trading one player that you were going to get rid of anyway, and you're getting rid of one piece, the 11th pick, for that one guy, because it's going to be one guy anyway, that 11th pick is. So it's totally worth getting Crosby. Not to mention you get a top 3 pass rusher immediately. So I would totally do it. I'm all for it. Trade Debo and pick 11 for Crosby. All for it. That's exactly what I said, Mike. Sign Josh Sweat? No. Do not sign Josh Sweat. He's overrated. He was on a dominant defensive line. You'll be repeating history by signing Hargrave, where he was on a dominant defensive line, signed him. He wasn't very good. Josh Sweat is overrated. Not to mention, he's not nearly as good as Max Crosby. And Max Crosby would be cheaper than Josh Sweat. So you get the better pass rusher, cheaper contract, and you don't have to worry about him being overrated. Much rather do that. DJ Jones, I don't mind getting him. He should be cheap. He's a back-end starter D tackle right now, so I might get him. Drafted D tackle, edge plus O-line. Still drafted D tackle even if we sign one. I'm all for it. Edge rusher is a must, but if we get Max Crosby, it's no longer a must anymore. You got that. Especially if you're interested in signing Josh Sweat, there's no point of drafting an edge as a priority at that point. D tackle would still need to be a priority for sure. Just because even no matter who you sign as a D tackle in free agency, none of them are like bona fide, like going to fill that hole and that need that the 49ers have at D tackle. So regardless of signing a D tackle, they would have to do it then, except for edge. Edge, if they get a bona fide edge, it would no longer be a priority at that point. Also sign Drew Dahlman. I'm all for it, man. Make it happen. We definitely need more than one player, but I don't think we'll fix it with 11th round pick. I think 11th for Crosby is okay, in my opinion. Exactly. It's perfect. You're trading one player because the 11th pick is one player. And you got 9 other picks in the draft. It's not going to be 11th, though, most likely. If it's 11th and Debo, I'll do it. 11th this year and a first-round pick next year, I do it then, too. Samuel in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Interested in Hennessy being better than Dahlman? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. If anyone's saying that, that's wild. He needs a lot. He needs a lot of to prove, and that's winging it way too much. So I like the potential of Hennessy, but no, I would not lean on him being better than Dahlman. I would not lean on that at all. No, Max Crosby wants to come to the Commanders alongside Myles Garrett. Samuel, you just want everyone, man. Myles Garrett, and then we're gonna sign T. Higgins, and then we're gonna do that, man. Sorry, brother. He's a D tackle. Who are we talking about? DJ Jones. Yeah, he's a D tackle. Josh Sweat is not a D tackle. That's some wishful thinking, bud. Josh Sweat is not bad, bro. You don't know that. Like, he just now popped off this year, and he didn't have that many sacks. He performed in the playoffs. But before then, his name wasn't really brought up as this insane guy. His name didn't pop up until the playoffs. I don't think he's that good of a pass rusher. And not only that, you're taking a lot of risk on Josh Sweat. You're taking a lot of risk there, especially that D-line he dominated with. You need to smoke some pot for Niners media. Like, you need to smoke some pot, dude. All right? Don't be coming at me like that, for real. You need to smoke some pot. If you can't handle a conversation or someone disagreeing with you, we got a problem. Getting in my feelings, it's not about getting in your feelings. If I don't think the guy is good, and I do think he is overrated, I'd much rather have Max Crosby, than Josh Sweat. Any day of the week, I would take Max Crosby. Max Crosby is literally a bona fide top 3 prospect. Josh Sweat is the best free agent D end as in a not very good free agent class of D ends. I would easily take Max Crosby, give up the 11th pick instead, and then get Josh Sweat, paying him $30-something plus million instead. That is absolutely wild. That is a wild take. So it's not a thing of feeling. It's just common sense, I feel like. Or not even just common sense. It just feels that's a better situation for the 49ers in general. Like, you're going to overpay for Josh Sweat, for a guy who just popped off this year. Then not only that, he just popped off this year. He didn't pop off until the playoffs. He didn't pop off until the playoffs. You want to know why that probably happened? It's because everyone was double teaming Jalen Carter. everyone was focused on everyone else outside of the rest of the players, where Josh Sweat got to feast. So to pick up a guy like that would be insane. To pick up Josh Sweat, actually choosing Josh Sweat over Max Crosby is wild. That is wild. We would still need to draft an edge. Have you seen our depth? I have seen our depth. I don't think at that point, though, it's a priority. If you already have an elite pass rusher there and you have Nick Bosa, you have Samo going on, you can draft one in the 4th round if you have to. In the 5th round would be great. 6th, 7th round. I don't mind that. That I don't mind. However, I'm not going to say we need to get one in the 2nd. We need to get one in the 3rd. If you have Max Crosby, you have him for a couple of years. Or was it a year? I think it's a year, actually, now I think about it. Hold on. You have him for 2 years. You have Max Crosby for 2 years. You don't need to make that a priority. You probably wouldn't make it a priority next year, the year after, but you do not need to make edge rusher a priority anymore if you were to get a starter. Because the problem is a starter. It's not necessarily depth at that point. You still need to get like a run-stopping edge, probably the 4th or 5th round. That'd be good. You can do something like that. A run-stopping edge in free agency wouldn't be bad. A run-stopping D tackle. However, you need a bona fide starter, and you would get that in Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa, all that. It no longer becomes a top 5 need at that point. See Tennessee kicker to have over Moody's job or cut Moody and pick him up after the Miami jump. Sign Tennessee kicker to take over Moody's job or cut Moody and pick up during or after draft Miami, Florida's kicker. I know there's a lot of connection to the Miami, Florida situation just because we worked him out, whatever, but I don't like him. I don't think he's that good. I don't understand the love for that guy, but no, I don't think we do not draft a kicker. Take that back. The only way you draft a kicker is in the 7th round. Take him, but you leave Moody on the roster. And I know people just want to get rid of him and just move him out of the way, but I personally would keep Moody on the roster, draft a kicker in the 7th round or get one undrafted, and then sign a vet. I would have 3. I would get all 3. I'd really focus on that. Keep Moody so that way you have the standard of being like, okay, this guy is the standard of the kicker, right? So you set the tone with Jake Moody. Are you better than Jake Moody? The rookie kicker has an opportunity to prove it, and the vet kicker has an opportunity to prove it. And I would not cut him until later on in the season when I've seen all 3 of them play. I wouldn't just outright cut Moody and then try to find something else. I would, because it's not like he's taking a huge cap hit or anything. It's not like he's taking up a roster spot that needs to be filled. It's like he's just a kicker, and you can find those in the undrafted situation. You can find a vet and then just have them compete, right? Because you could get stuck with somebody worse than Jake Moody, and you don't want that to happen. You really don't. So I personally would rather keep Jake Moody on the roster so that way you set the line, you set the standard, and then if it gets worse or better, make that judgment there. That's how I would do it. Delusional Find Max staying in Vegas. It's just the conversation, man. Not on that. I wouldn't say delusional. I know you're probably talking shit or whatever, but on a realistic standpoint, he is being talked to not just the 49ers. He's being talked to traded to like other teams as well, the Commanders, many other teams as well. It's not just the 49ers. So I know you're just talking shit, but on a realistic standpoint, it's not delusional that he potentially could get traded. No, I'd be happy with Garrett and Crosby and not Higgins. Yeah, Higgins has got to go. Graham is a D tackle. I was saying, oh yeah, I know he's a D tackle. Oh, you're talking about what is it? I thought you meant Jalen Graham. But yeah, Graham, I don't think he's that. I don't think he's all that. I still think he's going to be good. I just don't think he's as hyped as everyone makes him out to be. Because, yeah, I don't care what someone tells me how good he is. I don't care if someone tells me he's great. I'm going to look at his play, right? Look at his play, look at his stats, look at his stature, look at him, and give from my own eyes and my own judgment, not based on what someone else tells me he's good and then be like he's good. I mean, how many people told us Solomon Thomas was an elite D tackle? Or, you know what I mean? Elite edge, taken at the number 2 spot, 3 spot. So it's not, you can't always listen to, it's not always, your opinion should not always be based on what someone else tells you. You should have your own form of opinion. You should have your own hot takes. You should have your own beliefs because not everyone in the top 10 turns out to be great. Not everyone in the first round turns out to be great. A lot of people get hyped up and they turn out to be great. If I don't think Mason Graham is this electric player that's going to destroy the D-line, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see that. Do I see a good D tackle? I do. Like, don't get me wrong. I see a starting D tackle. I see a good D tackle. I just don't see this Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, future all-pro kind of type D tackle. That's all. But I do think he's a starter. So you're getting your feelings just because Hargrave hasn't worked out, but I wouldn't go back into the well of the previous. I wouldn't go back into the well of something that didn't work out, right? I wouldn't go into the well of something that didn't work out, didn't show flash until the playoffs. He wasn't that great. A lot of people weren't talking about Josh Sweat until the playoffs. That's the only time his name came up, and now he is the best free agent D end. So his name's going to be talked about. He's going to be his name's going to get thrown around a lot. That's just not going to happen. I don't see Josh Sweat as this guy, especially not better than Max Crosby, especially not better than him. Can't just say he sucks because Hargrave is bad for us. So let me say this. If I said he sucks, I'll take that back. But he's not as hyped, right? That's what I'm trying to say. He's not this elite pass rusher that everyone makes him out to be. He's not that guy. He's not going to get you 10 plus sacks, right? He's not elite in the run game. What you're paying for is what he did in the playoffs with 2.5 sacks, where a lot of people focus a lot more on Jalen Carter, double teaming him, where it gave that entire D-line, opened it up for Josh Sweat to make moves and make plays. I don't see Josh Sweat worth $30+ million and him being better than Max Crosby or a better option by a mile. I would not do it. I don't see him staying in the desert. I can't just say he sucks because Hargrave is bad for us. Raiders drop. Raiders need draft picks, so trading Crosby to the 49ers for pick 11 and Debo would be good for both sides. I agree. I think Debo would play hard for the Raiders. I think he likes the Raiders. I don't think he mind work. I think Debo just wants out. He wants a new, fresh start. So, I mean, it would be bad for him. Not to mention you get the 11th pick, so you can replace Max Crosby for someone like Nick Scorton, James Pierce Jr., who else is a good one? Mike Green's climbing up draft boards. There's some good draft edge rushers you can replace. However, I'd much rather have Max Crosby, in my opinion. That's why you're giving up Debo as well as a piece. We shall see. My wife is a 49er and would love him going. I would absolutely love to see him go to the San Francisco 49ers. If not, I want him to go to a team that I want to see succeed for sure. Like the Commanders, I wouldn't mind him going there. Somewhere in the AFC would be nice. Like the Bills would be good. I wouldn't mind seeing him there. Minimum 2 number ones for Max. I'd do it. Here's 11th pick. Hey, brother, 11th pick, and next year's first. Deal. Barry Sorrell. What's your thoughts on edge rusher Baron Sorrell? Let me write that down. Is that like your son? I'll write that down. I'll check him out. I haven't heard of him. Actually, you know what? I actually have seen him in draft picks. I'll write that down. There's a lot of edge rushers in this one. I think I've seen him. He's supposed to be like a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe somewhere down the bottom half. I'll check him out. But I'm gonna guess that's your son or something, or that's you. Well, I'll check him out. I haven't gotten that far, and I'm not gonna make up like, oh, he's great. Yeah, I like him. I'm not gonna make that up, but I'll check him out. I written down his name. I'll check him out. See, we give up first and a second for Garrett, and then we give up next year's first and a second rounder and Jonathan Allen. Man, you really don't want, like, you're willing to give up them D tackles, dude. Those are elite D tackles you got there, man. That's wild. If Max is to leave, he's going to want a fat bag, 3 to 4 years. Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, that's another thing. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that, though. That's why I'm not going off that. I haven't heard that he's like, if I get traded there, I want a new contract. The same thing with Myles Garrett. I haven't heard that he wants this new contract either. That's usually the assumption when you trade an edge rusher or a big-time piece. You sign him to a bigger contract or whatever, but I have not heard that being a necessity. If that's a necessity in the future, I'll address it then, and I'll be like, okay, can we afford this guy? But I don't know if that's actually something he's asking for right now. He could just want to be traded somewhere else, play 1 year on his current contract, and then the next year would probably demand a contract at that point. That's probably what they'll do for these edge rushers. Tyler Loop of the South Browns is for Anita. I'm lucky my woman not a team I hate. My ex from 2004 was a Patriots fan. Ex 2007 was a Steelers fan, and my ex 2017 was a Cowboys fan. Jesus, some of the worst. That's wild. You got to quit NFL teams searching for a Wi-Fi. That's fucking hilarious. You aren't going to waste an extra 53-man rush spot, an extra kicker, just my opinion. No. You have 90 spots. I'm not saying you keep 3 or 2 heading into the season. I'm not saying that at all. No, you don't do that. You make your decision by then. But you have a 90-man roster. You could use 3 kickers on a 90-man roster. You could do that. So you got, and then once you figure out who you want through the offseason, get rid of both of them or one, and then sign some depth piece for your practice squad or your scout team at that point. It's for the 90-man roster. And Strawberry in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Fair enough. If the Baltimore kicker gets cut, would you take him? No. He would probably be suspended. Yeah, for sure. I'm not talking shit. It's real. This time of the year is slow and unrealistic ideas get hopeful. Football fans are grabbing the fake ideas. Max is linked to every team in the NFL, but who's willing for 2 first? I think a lot of teams are willing to I think a lot of teams are going to be willing to give up 2 first. I would give up 2 first in a heartbeat. For Myles Garrett, I would do it. For Max Crosby, I would do it because you got 2 of the best top 3 pass rushers in the league. Is totally worth 2 first-round draft picks. The 11th pick, and then the 49ers are, as a 49ers fan, and I'm going to assume as the 49ers front office, they're going to go into this season with the expectation that pick, that next year's pick, is going to be a late 20s pick, right? Hopefully a 32nd pick. That'd be nice. Fingers crossed. But they're going in with a late pick, so it's like an early second rounder in that aspect. So to them, they'd be trading a early first round, early 11th is early. Just about, I guess technically it's a mid. That's practically early. You can get a steal there or whatever. But the 11th pick and then next year's late first rounder, early second round pick or whatever, technically, if you want to look at it that way, totally worth it. Josh West ain't getting paid that much. I disagree. He's going to get top dollar for what he's got. He's the best pass rusher on the free market, and people are going to overpay for him. They're definitely going to pay more than just what Max Crosby's getting. He's going to get paid a lot of money. Max is irreplaceable, not just a player, but as a leader. I could be mad at him if he did. Like, I would be, honestly, as a Raiders fan, I would obviously want to keep that guy. He needs to retire a Raider. Like, pay him more money if he has to. Like, if you're a Raiders fan, keep the guy. You have to, man. Like, the reason why the one thing I'd be looking at here is that if he were to get traded, hopefully it's to a contender and he gets a ring. Right, that's like the one thing I would want for a player like Mason Crosby. If he were to go somewhere and win a ring, they'd be like, okay, at least the guy like that won a ring. You know, and he deserved it. That's something I want to see. Because the Raiders, no offense, and I'm not talking shit. I don't think they're in rebuild mode. Right, they still need to find their quarterback. They have a lot of holes they need to fill, and this could be the first year with Tom Brady, and he's going to help with the assessment. From what I hear. You got new coaches, new everything. You're rebuilding from the top to the bottom. You still have to find your franchise quarterback. So Max Crosby. I keep saying Mason Crosby. I gotta stop doing that. Max Crosby is going to want to win a championship somewhere soon, rather than later. And I think the Raiders are about 2 to 3 years off, depending upon how good their coaching staff is. If their coaching staff is good, if they draft really well, get good free agents, Pete Carroll's an absolute stud. Then you guys might get there sooner rather than later, like what the Commanders did. They were expecting a 2 to 3 year rebuild. They got there year 1. It can happen for the Raiders. It can. But when it comes to expectation, you could beat expectation. But if it comes to expectation, the Raiders have their expectation is not to make the playoffs, especially in that division. He's your son? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors this time of year. One thing about Wolfie is that he doesn't fall for all of that unless it's real. Exactly. I understand that there's talks, right? And it's just like they're not. It's kind of like what 49ers media. It's kind of what 49ers media said, and I like what he had to say, which was like, I don't even want to talk about those guys because I don't want to think about it because my expectation was super high. But I understand I understand that Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, even Joey Bosa are all low chances of us getting them. Like there's a small possibility we can actually get these guys. It's not a like, oh, there he's out there, so do everything you can to get him because there's going to be a great chance to get him. No, this is like I agree with you that this is just talk between now and free agency, and until we see more reports, more not just opinion pieces, not just predictions. I'm talking like insider reports saying, hey, there's actual talks of this happening. A real source saying, hey, there's real talks of this actually going to occur. You got to pay attention to those. You got to weed those out. When someone says, I predict, that's just an opinion. When someone says, I think he's a better fit, that's just an opinion. You have to separate those and kind of find out where's the truth at. And that's really where I'm coming from. Really, right now, it's just fit what Max Crosby says, I want to win a Super Bowl. And they're just taking like, hey, this sounds like he could end up getting traded in the end. And it's all just opinion at that point. There's been no real like connection that Max Crosby ends up getting traded. I actually think in the end that he's going to stay with the Raiders. I think he's going to stay there. The reason why Myles Garrett seems like more of a possibility and more of a reality and more of something to talk about is because he demanded a trade and he wants to go to a contender. So he could hold out. He has the money to hold out. He has the star power to hold out. He knows that the Browns are nowhere near a championship. So there's a reality there. However, the chances of the 49ers actually trading for him is really low. It's really, really low. So Max has still years contract, no guaranteed money. I saw that, but he could want to just try to play for. He could be like, okay, I'm gonna prove it this year on a different team. Want it for an attempt at a championship, and then next year probably ask for demand a contract extension. Okay, I understand. Good to know, Pop J. Trying to find some good content for my wife. Raiders fans have many content creators, and most others teams don't. Max is finally getting hopeful. Well, center here, man. We're all welcome 49ers fans here. Hey, you don't even have to be a 49ers fan. What we do here is we just have a conversation. That's what it's all about. Max is finally getting hopeful. I don't take it as a disrespect. I know our record hasn't dictated our talent teams. We are retooling, not rebuilding. Pete doesn't have time for that shit. That's true. He is 74. But he's a young man. He's a young soul in an old man's body. No doubt. All the offseason speculation across the league gets very obnoxious. It's why I get hopeful when we get Purdy extension in the next few weeks. Tired of hearing the Rodgers. I know, dude. I fucking know, Strawberry. I'm so tired of this. Rodgers. Oh, that one guy started. What's his name? On that. It's these mainstream sports media where they will bring up something outrageous that they have no true connection to the team or been following the team enough or know enough of the fan base of what they want or what the front office wants. They just think about fit or they think about hype and they just bring it up. And then everyone and their mom rolls with it. So that one guy from, I can't think of the show. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's drunk, by the way. I think we're probably not going to sign Brock Purdy, and I just think that they should go after Aaron Rodgers because he'd have a great year. They could probably pay him because he sounds fucking drunk, talking about that. Now everyone and their mom's rolling with the possibility, and it's like you are not paying attention to what the 49ers are saying. 49ers are saying they want to keep Brock Purdy long term. The owners come out and said we're going to keep him long term. The Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Brock Purdy saying you want to stay here. Like all signs are saying they love Brock Purdy. To jump from let's get rid of Brock Purdy for picks to a guy who has said, I don't want to play for San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers has said that. To a guy who said that for a guy who has been mediocre to trash at best somewhere else and who is old, that wouldn't make any sense. It's absolutely wild. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense for Aaron Rodgers to be a San Francisco 49er in general. I absolutely hate it. I agree, Strawberry. They need to sign him as soon as possible. And I've heard, based on talks, based on rumor, based on vibe, that it might happen sooner rather than later, based on some 49ers insiders. My best man at my wedding this past summer was a 49ers fan of the year before, Danny. Oh, that's cool. That's dope, man. That's actually dope. Congrats, man. You're living amongst celebrities. Heard on another channel, Purdy's looking for a house in the area. He should be buying Debo's house, right? Right, dude. That'd be kind of cool. Heard on Purdy's looking for a house in the area. Is that true? If that's the case, then that means it's probably guaranteed it's going to happen. Not guaranteed, but Purdy looking for a house. Let me double check that. Purdy's house, breaks down living. Don't see anything here. Let me double check. Brock Purdy looking for a house. Who was the insider that said that? Roommate reveals there is I don't see anything here on Google. Nothing's popping up here. Yeah, I don't see anything. Him looking for a house. Who was the content creator? Who's the creator? Yeah, I haven't heard that either. I think it was on Larry's channel. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything here yet. Maybe that just came out. I'm typing Brock Purdy. Will extension, risk contract still with Brock Purdy. Now Kirk Cousins is being talked to the 49ers. Vernon Davis says the 49ers should pay Brock Purdy. That's cool. Coaching for I've got. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. Sorry, guys. Sorry, this is kind of big news. This is big news. If he's looking for a house right now, that means something's coming. That means something's coming. Because he wouldn't be doing that if he didn't have reassurance like that. Yeah, I don't see anything like that. But if it comes out, definitely for sure, that's a big sign, guys. If there's something like that happened, if he's buying a house, if Brock Purdy's buying a house, then that's huge. If Brock Purdy's looking for a house right now, that is huge. That's saying a lot because no one just looks for a house without some certainty. I haven't heard that filthy. If that's true, that's fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I agree. I know that he's been looking for a house all year long. He said he was looking for one that had high security because his fame has changed. I knew Larry mentioned Debo selling his house. I saw that too in Larry's live as well. Didn't hear about Purdy buying, although there is a guy that is on Larry's channel that knows Brock and his family personally. He lives in Arizona. That would be huge. Jason in the house. Good to see you, man. Welcome. You're just on the other end. We're going to talk about real quick before we get. So let's move on to the next thing. So we just talked about Max Crosby and that potential there. We just talked about the exclusive rights free agents that were signed for the 49ers, which was all of them: Samo, Evan Anderson, Austin Pleasance, who's shown a lot of flash. Is there anyone else that's huge? Those are the big three, I would say, that were signed. Mason Pline, if you're a big fan of him. So those are some big ones there. All right, so let's move on to the next one. That I thought was interesting. Joey Bosa's mom, the mother of Nick Bosa. All right. I don't know if you guys know this yet, but Joey Bosa is related to Nick Bosa. That's a fun fact for y'all. I know. Well, his mom shared this image that I've seen around the NFL, and she loves the idea of it, right? And we've seen Joey Bosa rock a 49ers jacket because his brother's on the team, of course. We've seen that before. He stuck up for the 49ers, defending them against Eagles fans. He's done that. And I'm pretty sure that I'm sure Nick Bosa would love to play with his brother. I'm sure his mom would love to see something like that. And there is rumors that Joey Bosa is probably going to get cut from the 49ers, but probably going to get cut from the Chargers to save a lot of cap space. My concern with that is, like, how much money does he actually want, right? How important is it to him to play with his brother? Because he'll probably have to take a pay cut. And he's kind of injury prone. He's got some injury issues. And I don't know if I want to pay for that. I don't know if I want to take a shot on that. I like the idea of it. I really do, because I do think he's a good edge stopper, and I do think he's a good pass rusher. I think Nick Bosa is better, but I mean, I would not. It just depends on how much you're paying him. What is the contract? I'm interested in Joey Bosa, but I'd much rather pick an edge rusher at 11. I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather go 11th pick at 11. Much rather do that than take Joey Bosa. Max Crosby, I would not. Myles Garrett, I would not. Joey Bosa, how much money you want? How's important to you to play with your brother? That's how I feel about that. I don't want to get too much into it, but I like the idea. I don't love it. I like it, not love it. So we got here. Jason absolutely fucking hates the idea of Joey Bosa. Do have spent more time injury playing. I agree with that. Injury prone little situation there. If we go for a Chargers DN, get Mac. I like Mac. Older guy, 33 years old, still shows that he's got it. You have 1 year rental. So if you get Mac, you can draft an edge at that point. I know I said earlier, like if you get a number 1, but the reason why it's different than Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or any other pass rusher that you end up trading for, A, you don't need to sign. A, you don't need to trade that 11th pick to get him. B, he's old, so you're only going to have him for about a year, right? So you need to have a backup pass rusher ready to go. It doesn't become a major priority, but I would, at that point, for an older guy, I would probably still use the 11th pick on an edge rusher, or a second or a third round pick. I would at that point. But if it was like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, I wouldn't worry about an edge rusher as much anymore. But if it was Mac, he's also not the same. Like, he's still good. He's still a starting D end, right? He's still got that potential, but it's nothing compared to Max Crosby and Myles Garrett, where it just solidifies the position, in my opinion. So, of course, she loves the idea. It would be nice for her to watch them together on the same team and not have to choose which child. That's true. Spitting hot fire, Strawberry. Spitting hot fire. Spitting hot fire. I would only do it if he takes a vet minimum deal. I mean, if you did like 10 million, I'd do it for like 10 million, 15 million. 15 million is not bad for a guy like that, but I definitely am not paying him top dollar. I'm definitely not paying him 20 million. Juan in the house. Good to see you. I won't be popping in the chat that much. It's my sister's birthday, but I'll be watching. Hey, happy birthday to your sister, man. I'm glad you made it, dude. Glad you made it. Hit that like button, y'all. Tappy that like button, y'all, if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it, because right after this, we're jumping into a mock draft. A mock draft. A live mock draft. Okay? Mistakes are going to be made. People are going to be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's going to be nuts. Okay? Strawberry, you took the words right out of my fingers. I would rather go younger. I agree. You and I, Jason, don't really agree much, but we're there, man. We're there. And also joins glorified Leonard Floyd with less sacks. Okay, that's bold, I think. Nick needs to renegotiate his contract so that money can go to Joey. I know. Wouldn't it be cool if Nick Bosa was like, I'll renegotiate my contract, take less money so we can get my brother? I mean, why not? I mean, he's sharing, right? You're only paying like $10 million. I don't mind that idea. Don't disrespect Floyd like that. I don't think Floyd's that great, dude. I don't understand the hype. I understand that you and 49ers media are a big fan of Leonard Floyd and what he did, but I don't see it. I really don't see it. I agree with that, Jason. Would rather go for a player in the draft 110%. Miles, Hendrickson, Crosby, and then Mac. I like that order. I like that order. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the fun stuff. All right, mock draft. There's going to be ads like crazy. So if I get booted, if this live ends suddenly, it's because this freaking mock simulator has ad. So I could, I'm afraid of using this for that reason. But if I don't get booted off, I'll be great. But if I get booted off, thank you guys for being part of this live. I will end up doing a mock draft off as recording then if I can't do it live. But I kind of want to do this. I haven't done this mock draft yet, this mock draft simulator yet. I've used other mock draft simulators, so this one's different. And they kind of take weird players. They kind of take different players, but let's see how it goes. So let me share this tab. Yeah, I get it, McDonald's. Goddamn. Okay, so share this tab. Sharing the tab. Here we go. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here's the mock draft, guys. And I've done a couple to kind of test it out. And some of you guys are not going to like what I'm doing, what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie to you. But I want you guys to hear me out when I do it. I want you guys to just hear me out as it goes. And we'll see. But we all know that everyone's got their guy in their draft. Everyone's got their reach in the draft. Everyone's got their main priority in the draft. But we're going to do what I want to do, what I think is best. And you guys can disagree. That's fine. But promise me, you ain't going to like get really personal and start calling me a piece of shit. Okay. Or like you could disagree, but just tone it down. That's all I'm asking when we do this. That is all. All right. So there is going to be trades in this draft. So this is a trading draft here. This simulator is different than the other ones. Some players are rated higher than the others. So this is NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what happens here. Here we go. Joey Bosa, 15 sacks, 3 saves in Knicks. Joey's not good enough. We need elite. I agree with that. Wolf, are you need to do the mock draft? Is always personal. Yeah, spitting off fires. It can get like that for sure. I always find it interesting to see which player falls in the actual draft and which player gets drafted way higher than they should. That does happen. There's always you can count on the Raiders to do that. For some reason, there's always some second round draft pick that becomes like a top 15 pick out of nowhere. A fourth round, fifth rounder becomes a second rounder. You know, you're not wrong, Strawberry. That's definitely a possibility. Let me get rid of some of these tabs so that way the mock draft can flow easier. There's more of a flow. No, it's gone. No, it lagged. Oh my God. Reload. Bring it right back up again. Jeez. And we're going to do we're just going to do fourth round. We're going all the way up to the fourth round. All right. I am doing research on the draft, but I don't know enough players beyond the fourth round as much. I'm still researching. There's a lot of time between now and the draft, but as of right now, I'm more familiar between 1 and 4. And besides, we have five third and fourth round draft picks, right? Total. And second round and first round. So I know more between 1 and 4, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to lie to you guys and be like, yeah, this guy is great in the 5th round. Just make up some shit. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So, all right. You're already pissing. I'm getting there. Steve-O in the house. Deduct 1 draft pick. Penalty. Penalize my ass. That shit. Get rid of that. You guys are funny. Okay, so the 11th pick here. All right. Let's go ahead and start this draft. We are not going to trade up. The 11th pick I feel like is a good spot. There are players I would like to trade up for. However, I don't think there's certain players that I want to trade up for that I do not think teams would pass on. It's possible, obviously, because we've seen it before. But like Abdul Carter, if someone can draft him, they're going to draft him. Travis Hunter, someone can draft him, they're going to draft him. If a ridiculous player falls to the 49ers like Abdul Carter, I'm starting over. If Travis Hunter falls to the 49ers at 11, I'm starting over because that's not happening. That's just not happening. So, all right. Let's do this. Here we go. Look at these ads. Sanders, Abdul Carter to the Ward with the Giants. Campbell to England. All right. Burden went to the Vegas Raiders. I can see that actually. Why trade for Debo when you can just get Debo? You know what I mean? Why trade for Debo if you can just get Debo? So, no. Ooh, these are terrible draft picks. Man, the trade back here is terrible. I don't like the trade backs. None of those trade backs are good. All right. Let's see what we got here. Edge. Mikael Williams, I like him a lot, but he was more of a one-year wonder. Same thing with Jalen Walker. Both these guys, I like them both, but I don't want to take him at 11. Mike Green, I'm a big fan of Mike Green. Don't mind him at 11. Jack Sora is great. I'm a big fan of Donovan. I like Donovan a lot, and I like Princely a lot. Princely is actually one of my top 5 pass rushers. I like him. Offensive tackle, I don't like Calvin Banks. We're going to move on from Calvin Banks. We're not drafting him. He doesn't fit the scheme. Josh Simmons is my favorite offensive tackle, and if it wasn't for his knee injury, he would be a top 10 pick easily. God, I would almost want to trade. I want to trade back so bad here. It just sucks that we didn't get a good option. Will Johnson. You gotta understand. You actually gotta look at Luther Burden Jr. He's actually truly a Debo type with wide receiver ability. Think Debo, but as a wide receiver. Luther Burden Jr. is a phenomenal wide receiver. Some consider him actually the number 1 wide receiver in this class. Watch him play. He's phenomenal. He's definitely a Debo type. He's definitely a Debo type and then some. He's phenomenal. I actually love that wide receiver. So Will Johnson is a future all-pro corner. You're taking a chance on Mikael. Tyler Warren, a lot of people like Tyler Warren, but I think there's better. I think he's not even my favorite tight end in this draft. Josh Simmons, I like him a lot too. Tyler Booker, great guard, monster guard. Someone worth taking with the 11th pick, almost just based on hype. Man, this one's tough. This is actually tough. I most likely might just take best player available here, and best player available is Will Johnson. Will Johnson is a future all-pro corner. He is a future all-pro corner here. However, Tyler Booker feels a need. Oh, I forgot to say this. I forgot to say this, by the way. The 49ers usually they still address needs in free agency. I think the 49ers are going to address center. I have the 49ers dressing center because there is a few centers here, and center is super important. They have a need at guard. Burford, I feel like they would try to fill that need with guard with Burford and probably try to approach that in the 2nd to 3rd rounds, 4th rounds. And there's a lot of guards in this draft. There's a lot of guards in this draft, and there's a lot of guards in free agency. So I think the 49ers are going to sign a guard in free agency, and I think they're going to try and sign a center in free agency. I think they're going to attack free agency with a guard and a center. So with that being said, I think the 49ers have a guard filled, and I think they have a center filled. Leaving them getting – so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I filled guard in free agency, and I filled center in free agency. So we just have tackle, D-end, and D-tackle. So we filled guard with probably Trey Smith. There's a few of them with Trey Smith, Will Fries, Tevin Jenkins. There's center like Josh Myers, Drew Dahlman, for example. Ryan Kelly's up there. Coleman Shelton, Will Hernandez. There's options that they would feel like is a starter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assume that we have a guard picked up already and we have a center picked up already. So keep that in mind. We got 2 starting corners, cornerback 3 with the 11th. He would be the number 1 corner. He would be the number 1 corner. Not to mention, he is a best player available outside of Ashton Genty. And you would not need to draft or sign another corner because they still have a 3rd quarterback need. Will Johnson is so good, guys. Will Johnson is just so good. Malik Starks, we don't need to draft a safety like that. There's a few of the back end. Yeah, I agree with that, Strawberry. Usually in the draft, they try to get a player that either is on defense that's elite or they go scoring touchdowns kind of type guy. And who's that? Who's a wide receiver that's left? Buka, Golden, Harris. There's no one really out there. Tight end, Warren's still out there. They could go Warren, really. I don't like that, though. But I'm drafting Will Johnson, guys. I'm drafting Will Johnson. He's phenomenal. Okay, he's the best corner in the draft. He's the best player available, in my opinion, outside of Ashton Genty. And he fills that third cornerback spot where you now have 3 elite corners. You have 3 starting corners on your team, and you dress. This is tough. You know what? I take that back. I hate this. A lot. I like Mike Green more than Scorton, Walker, and Williams. So I'm going to take Mike Green at 11. I changed my mind just because that edge situation. I don't know who's going to fall there in the second round. Can I get Princely at the second pick? D tackle maybe? I take Mike Green. I took Mike Green. I did it. I pulled the trigger. I like him better than Scorton. I like him better than Mikael Williams. I like him better than Jalen Walker. I took Mike Green. I want you guys to know I gave up who I really fucking wanted to get. I wanted to get so badly. I wanted to get what's his name? So badly I wanted to get Will Johnson. That's such a you got to understand that is such a valued pick. That is such an insanely good pick. I just don't like that. All right, trade offers. I like that trade offer. And I kind of like that trade offer, but I'd much rather get a third round pick here for the second round pick. So we'll probably take that Cardinals one, depending upon what's left. You have Benjamin Morrison still available. Oh my God. We have to draft ahead for teams to pass on us. Drafting a tight end would do that. There's plenty of tight ends in this draft. There's Gunnar Helm, which is nice. Lackey is a good option. Mason Taylor's a good option too. He's a good blocking tight end, some catching ability. All right, so we got guard and center already addressed. We got guard and center still addressed. So we got guard, center, and edge. D-line. Ooh, TJ Sanders. Oh, I like TJ Sanders so much. Oh, TJ Sanders is so good. Tight end. You get Gunnar Helm later on. Yeah, I'm trading back. I'm going to trade back. I like Donovan Jackson, but we already got a guard, like I said, so we don't have to worry about that in free agency. That's not a need. That's something we can get in the third or fourth round to take over as a backup potentially. But I want you to know if we did not address guard, right, and these were the guards available, I would take Donovan Jackson, Gray Zabel, or Jonas Avea. All 3 of them are great options for guard. All 3 of them, to me, are great options. I like Donovan Jackson as a pure dominant guard up there with Tyler Booker. He's really good at his job. So I would almost take Donovan Jackson here over Gray Zabel and Jonas Avea. But if you got either one of them at 43, I would be excited. I would love it. But in this scenario, we already signed a guard, so we don't need to do that. We need a D tackle. And I'm going to go ahead and take the chance that Arizona, we're going to trade with Arizona and see what we're going to trade back. We're trading back. They took Collins. Okay, Morrison's gone. Emmanuel's gone. Norman Lott's gone. Second and a fifth. No, we'll reject that. Okay. With that, who's available? Oh, Princely's still available too, man. Princely's still out there. Donovan's still out there. I really wish I should have took a corner. Should have took a fucking corner. Okay, so should have took Will Johnson because I like Princely a lot and Donovan. I mean, But we got Mike Green. We're taking TJ Sanders. C+, eat my shit. We're taking Donovan Sanders. TJ Sanders, I mean. All right, so we got to hope that so we got guard, center, edge, and D-line addressed. Okay? Now we need what do we need? We need linebacker, safety, tight end. But it goes safety, linebacker, tight end. No, it goes safety, tight end, linebacker's like the third position there. Fallback, couple pieces. Oh, that's not a bad choice. What we got here? Gunnar Helm. All right, see what else we got here. Okay, we got Mason Taylor. We got the third. We also got 3 picks between each other here. The needs were what? Safety, who's available. Damn it! Makuba is gone. Makuba is gone. I don't like Xavier Watts, guys. Call me crazy, call me insane, but I don't like Xavier Watts. Not a fan of Xavier Watts here. Kevin Winston's not bad. I like Kevin Winston more than Watts. I think that Watts is just at the right place at the right time most of the time. But when I watch him play, I'm not impressed. He's more of a man, like he's a man kind of type safety on tight ends or whatever. He's more of that in zone. He's not really a zone safety. We need a guy who's sideline to sideline, not a guy who not a tight end coverage guy. Billy Bowman would be a better option later on in the draft. I think he'd be a good pick. Tackle, you got William Millian, be a good guard in the future. He's supposed to be a good guard in the end. Tight end. Linebacker. Tackle, D-line. We're good on D-line. We're good on edge. Tight end. I like Gunnar Helm better than Mason Taylor. I like Gunnar Helm better, and I'm going to draft Gunnar Helm here. He's a great blocking tight end, and he's really good at catching the ball. I'm not saying he is George Kittle because, like George Kittle, when he gets the ball, he doesn't look like he's doing insane things with his jukes, doesn't look super athletic, but yet for somehow he still manages looking stiff. He still manages to break tackles, embrace contact, and he jukes people out sometimes despite looking deceptively. He looks stiff, but he's deceptively shifty. That's kind of what Gunnar Helm is, kind of a George Kittle type. And why not go after and get a guy who is that dude? I'm getting Gunnar Helm. I got Gunnar Helm now. So we have addressed guard, center in the free agency. We got TJ Sanders and Mike Green at the front end. So we got all that settled there. With the 38th, with the 78th pick. All right, we're good on tight end. We're good on D-line. We're good on O-line. We're good on edge. Offensive tackle wouldn't be bad, but I do like Holland Pierce later on in the draft. Who's the best available right now? I almost will draft. Darian Porter from Iowa State isn't bad. He's a good corner. Savon Williams is a great wide receiver weapon. I like him a lot. Tez Johnson's a good wide receiver. Demetrius Knight is a good linebacker to draft there. He's a very he is a Greenlaw type linebacker. Demetrius Knight is. And this is tough. There's some good wide receivers here, guys. Interior offensive line. Linebacker. Demetrius Knight isn't bad. What's the trade offers? There are no trade offers? Shit. Corner. I might go Darian Porter here. I do like Darian Porter. I think he's a good corner. Safety. It's too soon to take Billy Bowman. It's too soon to take Billy Bowman. Kevin Winston is not that bad. I like Billy Bowman a lot, man. I'd much rather take him at the 11th. I'm going to take Billy Bowman at the 99th pick. So this pick is free, really, to go anywhere else. And it could be a linebacker, could be a corner, because we need to address that corner need. Tight end is good. Tackle. Oh my God, tackle. I almost want to get Emory Jones here. And I understand that tackle is somewhat of a need. Wyatt Malum, guys, is a guard. He's going to be a guard in the NFL. And I'd much rather get Holland Pierce later on in the draft. This is tough. This is actually really fucking hard. That's such a steal, though. I don't know what to do. I'm actually stunned. What's really weird about this draft, guys, is that usually I'm a lot quicker with this. I'm a lot more decisive. But the way this board fell is so fucking weird. The way this board fell is so weird. Papa J says we should go Jones Jr. Yeah, I guess. He could play right tackle. I guess he is a right tackle. We're doing it. We just draft Emory Jones Jr. at the 78th pick. He is a tackle. He is a tackle. Even though I like Holland Pierce better, I like Chase Lunt from UConn as well. He's really good. He's a good run guy. He needs to work on his pass coverage ability, pass protection. Holland Pierce is just a monster, an absolute monster. I would almost take this if I was doing next year's draft. No. Yeah, reject. Okay. All right. So with the 99th pick, they think I should go Ratledge, Beck, Savon Williams, dude. I like Savon Williams a lot, but Nick Nash is a good option later on in the draft as well. Nick Nash is a steal, dude. Nick Nash is a great wide receiver. Safety, too soon for Billy Bowman. Man, guys, I might go Savon Williams here. He's my draft crush. I absolutely love Savon Williams a lot. But Demetrius Knight would fill in a hole at that linebacker spot. So I'm going to go linebacker here, guys. I'm going to take Demetrius Knight. I like Savon Williams. He's going to be gone, but I'm a big fan of Savon Williams as my draft crush. Where we have the 106th pick, who's available. So we got the linebacker. I also like Danny Stutzman too. I'm a big fan of Danny Stutzman. I'm a big fan of Danny Stutzman. I'm a big fan of. Who else? I guess we have to go Billy Bowman, right? With the Billy Bowman. I think we have to. He might fall to the 112th pick. I'm going to take that chance. I'm taking that chance. No one take him. No one take him. Let's go, baby. All right. Okay. We're taking Billy Bowman. Great value. Billy Bowman is fast, right? And we need a side-to-side line safety. He is that guy, and he's really underrated. Love Billy Bowman. So far, this draft is not bad with the considerations of who we got in free agency. Considering who we got in free agency, I don't mind it. Let's see what we got. Here. All right. Malachi Moore is still on the board. He's not bad. Leah. Relax. Hey, relax. I know. Relax. Leia, you're fine. Dog wants attention. I'm sorry, guys. All right. So let's look at some wide receivers. Nick Nash is still on the board. Running back, who do we got? We got RJ Giddens, Jordan James. There are no good running backs, in my opinion, that I've researched so far that's left. So all the running backs are gone. Dorian Strong is not a bad corner. Who's the cornerbacks that left? Mello Dotson. All right, guys. I know what I'm doing here. I'm taking Nick Nash. Okay, we're going to reject this. And then the corner we're going to take that I absolutely love. I love this corner. I don't know how he's not valued more. He's got insane instincts. He's such a steal. And I feel like a lot of people aren't gonna like this. They're not going to like this. But I'm taking Mello Dotson here. All right. So my draft is complete. This is who we end up getting. All right. So here's the final thing. In free agency, we got center and we got guard. Fill both needs. You got Burford as a backup guard. He's a swing tackle guard and has played center. So you have that. Then the 49ers pick up a guard in free agency. They pick up a center in free agency. So they solidified the offensive line where the only need at this point is tackle. They need a tackle. They need D-line. They need edge. A backup linebacker, a secondary linebacker. They need another corner. They need a safety. Those are the needs. Now, from the first round to the fourth round, they got Mike Green climbing up draft boards, absolute stud. The 49ers themselves have paid special attention to Mike Green. I don't remember who it was, but like I think the defensive coach, I think there was a coach there, a scouting coach there that was there with Mike Green, got first hands on him. I've loved Mike Green before his hype. I thought he was phenomenal. I love what he can bring. So Mike Green at the edge is one of my favorites. You really couldn't go wrong. I think Mikael Williams was there. Jalen Walker was there. And Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton's a phenomenal D-end. If we didn't get Mike Green, it was going to be Nick Scorton because I love him a lot out of South Carolina. But in the end, we got our edge. We got Mike Green. Next up, we got TJ Sanders. Outside of Harmon, Mason Graham, who's the other, and Walter Nolan, those three, my fourth D tackle in this draft is TJ Sanders. And we got him in the second round. We got my fourth favorite D tackle who was left in the draft. So we got Mike Green, who I love a lot. Couldn't go wrong with edge there. D tackle. So now our D line has been set. We now have the D tackle of the future. We have the edge of the future. And we're good on guard. Now it's everything else. Everything else is up for grabs. Tight end, Gunnar Helm. Phenomenal tight end. Like he's George Kittle type player. Is he going to be George Kittle? I'm not saying that. But he's a blocking tight end, a phenomenal blocking tight end. One of the best in the draft. Between him and Mason Taylor. I like Gunnar Helm better than Mason Taylor. So there was both those options there. And we got Gunnar Helm the 75th pick. Emory Jones. Honestly, there's players at that point you reached for, right? At that point with the 7th, 8th pick. Everyone was reached. Emory Jones is considered a third to second round draft pick. We need a tackle for the future, someone to really put out there. And considering the value that you're getting, I thought Emory Jones was a great pick. Shout out to Papa J picking that player. I think we got a starting tackle potentially, someone who would probably be better than McKivitz in the end potentially, especially next to Pooney. This team's offensive line is officially set. The offensive line looks amazing. So I like these 4 picks that we got in the end. Demetrius Knight is, if we do not get Dre Greenlaw back, right? And I know the 49ers, based on news and from what we're hearing, the 49ers want to get Dre Greenlaw back. They want to bring him back. Robert Saleh wants him back. I'll be all for it. I love the idea of it. I really do. But if we don't, getting that secondary linebacker, Demetrius Knight, he is Dre Greenlaw. He is that guy. He's phenomenal. Excellent linebacker. One of my favorite in the draft. Next up, with our 4th round pick, took a chance, Billy Bowman, out of Oklahoma, the second fastest safety in the draft. We needed a safety who's sideline to sideline, who's a zone guy, while Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown could feast and more inside the box as a strong safety. We got a true free safety in Billy Bowman. Phenomenal guy, great player. If we could, honestly, this 75th pick would have been Andrew Makuba if we could have got him, but he wasn't there. So my next, after Andrew Makuba, my favorite safety is Billy Bowman. In the 4th round, great value. We feel the need at safety. At that point, we solved everything. At that point, the only position we need now is third corner, right? Is a third corner. And what else was there? Third corner, maybe a third running back would not be a bad choice here as a weapon, but there was no really good running backs at that point in the 4th round. And that's about it. So we got linebacker, D-line we have addressed. The trenches are fully addressed. Safety's addressed. Linebackers addressed. The backup tight end situation's addressed. All that's remaining is just weapons and just like secondary stuff. So I went with Nick Nash out of San Jose State, the former quarterback who turned wide receiver. I believe he was a Triple Crown winner this previous year in college football. Phenomenal guy. If you go watch him play, this dude is amazing. This guy is amazing. And I think the only reason why he's not higher in draft boards is because it's his first year playing, I believe, as a wide receiver, transferring into quarterback. And you don't always see something like that happening. Like Julian Edelman did that, but he didn't do that until he got into the league. Nick Nash goes up and gets the ball. He's great at route running. He does it all. He carried this San Jose State team. Right? He was phenomenal. And this is an absolute steal, I think. Nick Nash at 138. Let me see what his size is. I think he has good size too. I think he's like 6'5" or some shit. He's sorry, I take that back. He's 6'1", right? 184 pounds. Great wide receiver. I think he's an absolute steal at that pick. Nick Nash, great. Mello Dotson is a draft crush of mine. He's one of my favorite corners in this draft. At 139, you get a guy who's instinctual, who's tight, right? He's not that great. He's not really a zone guy, but he's man-to-man, and that's what we're doing with Green and Lenore. You got Dotson now, who's I think is a phenomenal corner. I don't understand how he's so I don't understand how he's so far down on draft boards. I do not get that at all. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. He's got the instincts. He's got the speed. He's got the size. He's a great corner. So this is my mock draft. Am I in love with it? No. I would much rather trade from 11, but the only option to trade from 11 at this point was a second-round draft pick, and I don't want to fall that far back. I'd much rather take an edge or best player available. Honestly, I almost should have took, if I really thought about it, and the alternative I would have done here is I would have took Will Johnson at the 11th pick, a corner, who's going to be a future All-Pro corner. A lot of people wouldn't have liked that. But in the second round, I would have took Princely, who's an edge. So I would have solved the edge situation. And then with the 75th pick, I would have traded up. And with the 75th pick, I would have traded up to get TJ Sanders in another world. Take Will Johnson, the 43rd pick, because I would have traded back, would have been Princely. And then with the 75th pick, I would have traded up to get TJ Sanders, where we probably would have missed out on Emory Jones, obviously because we didn't trade back. And then we probably would have missed out on Demetrius Knight because I would have traded up for Billy Bowman instead. So in an alternative world, that's probably what I've done. The 49ers, in my opinion. So that's my mock draft for the San Francisco 49ers. That's who I have. I'm not in love with it, but I do love the players we got. I think they're great. I'm not in love with all right, I should this back. I'm not in love with the 11th pick because I'd rather trade back. I'm not in love with the 78th pick because I'd much rather have gotten a better steal or traded up instead. But everything else, I absolutely love. I absolutely love the rest of the draft I got. I love the pieces we got. Love the 4th round draft picks I got. I think those are absolute steals. Gunnar Helm, I'm a big fan of him. Probably my 4th tight end in this draft. So we got him with a great value. But yeah, the 49ers. So at the end of the day, just to end off this stream, the 49ers need to trade back from the 11th pick. I understand get best player available is not a bad option, but there are guards galore if the 49ers don't sign guards, right? There's not that many centers in this draft, so I would much rather sign a center, but the 49ers, there's a lot of guards in this draft. There's a lot of edges in this draft. There's a lot of D-line in this draft. There's a lot of trenches. There's a lot of trenches options. So you may miss out on top end trenches players, but if you have a late 20s first round draft pick, but in return you get another second round pick and another third round pick, so you now have 2 second round picks and you have 3 third round draft picks, you can easily get a starting potential edge, starting potential D tackle, starting potential guard, starting potential offensive tackle. You can literally do that if you were to trade back, and that's not even accounting the first round draft pick that you got. With those 2 second round draft picks, you got a D tackle edge. With your 3 thirds, you get guard, tackle, okay, and then you still have that extra third. And the first round, not even talking about the first round draft pick. If the 49ers trade back, that is the smartest thing that they can do. You would miss out on some options, sure, but my God, do you have options galore in the second and third round? So much talent in the trenches. That's not counting tackle. Tackle is the only one where you're like, eh. But you got edge, you got D tackle, you got guard and center too. So you got guards, D tackle, and edges. You can solve in the second, third round so easily. We just saw in the 4th round, you can get safeties, right? You can get weapons like wide receivers. You can get corners. They just need to trade back. It's the best. It's the best option, unless somehow Will Johnson, Mason Graham. I'm not big on them, but everyone else is. But just based on hype and potential, if they can get that potential out of them, get them at 11. That's also a need. Mason Graham at 11. Will Johnson at 11, Travis Hunter at 11. That's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, and Abdul Carter. Those are the only 4 players that they should take with the 11th pick. If not, trade back. That's the only thing they should do. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. That was the mock draft 1.0 of Wolfie's mock draft, where it was just me, no Poggy, no 49ers media. It was just me in the scenario. That's who I got. In this situation, let me know who you guys liked, who did I miss, who was I passed on that you're like, what the fuck? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. If there's a player I didn't mention, let me know. I'll do. I'm still doing film. I'm watching other players and stuff. So there may have been a player that I missed that probably would have been phenomenal. But yeah, I would love to hear it. If there's somebody I missed there that you love, right now, I'm jumping to the draft, trying to find the best players available. And there's going to be more mock drafts down the line. I think that after the combine this February, I will do another mock draft. That'll probably be my next mock draft is after February, after the combine. And then after free agency, I'll do another combine and another mock draft. So I'll probably do 5 mock drafts of my own self. But I do plan on doing mock drafts with other people, hopefully Terror Dome, more with 49ers media, more with Poggy, etc. We'll do more like that, but like just me, I plan on about 5. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for being part of this live. Papa J, you're the best mod of Broken Ask for 110%. Val, thank you so much for being part of this live. You're OG. I can always count on you being here. Niners for life. Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you being here. You're awesome. Strawberry Reacts, thank you so much for being part of this live, man. You always coming in hot with the takes. I appreciate it. Steve-O, appreciate you coming in here as well. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much. Jason, thank you so much for being part of this live as well. Appreciate you supporting the live. We should do a stream sometime. Filthy Casual, I appreciate you coming in here. You're awesome. Juan, one of the best. Juan is one of the best in the business. All right, being part of this channel. I appreciate it. Raiders, Ryan, hope to see more of you, man. I appreciate you coming in here, man. I appreciate you showing some respect. Great conversations. Great guy. Thank you so much. Barry Sorrell, I'll check out Baron Sorrell. I haven't heard about him. I'll check him out, see if he's any good. See if I like him. 49ers me, I appreciate you coming in here as well. Appreciate it, even though you came in hot. All right. Came in like really like what the fuck? Came in hot. Okay. But I appreciate you coming here. Michael, thank you so much for being part of the live as well. Who else we got? Samuel, good luck to your Commanders, man. Big fan. Thank you so much for part of this live as well. And I think that is everyone. Take care. Sub if you watch this guys later. Sub if you haven't subbed already, if you like the content or whatever. If you're like, hey, I like this mock draft. This mock draft was dope. Hit that sub button. There's going to be more along the way, more draft prospects along the way, free agency coverage, all of that. Even if you're not a 49ers fan, you're all welcome in this wolf den. I appreciate you guys. And be sure to like the live. If you haven't liked the live already, helps me out a lot, helps me grow, helps me put this out there. And I want you guys to know this is my dream to be a 49ers content creator. It's my dream to talk football. And it's because of you guys that can happen. It's because of you guys that I'm actually a YouTube partner at this point. I'm tier 1 YouTube partner. And it's because of you guys that we got this far. So thank you so much for being part of this, being part of this journey. It still blows me away just thinking about how far we've gotten. And I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So if you guys like this live, as you know, every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a gang, baby. Bang, 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 bang.